And your host for Rockstar Connect Lancaster, which is bringing you these success seminars relatively on a monthly basis. But today we're really excited to have our dear friend TJ Griffin from Creative Hope Studios as well.
It says it has no sound.
It says it has no sound. None whatsoever.
We can hear.
We can hear. I plugged in the second.
Is that selfish?
Okay, we can hear. Okay, you got it.
Okay, so we got sound. Very good. So,
Just wanted to double check. I appreciate it. Sorry. We're ready to be successful. Let's go.
Janet.
thank you very much.
Success now enabled.
So again, we're here at the Candy Factory on the 6th floor, and I wanted to give the opportunity to Ann Kirby, the owner of the Candy Factory, to share with you just a little bit about what the Candy Factory offers as our sponsor for our monthly success seminars. So please welcome Ann to the stage.
Thank you all for being here. Before I get started, would you mind running the elevator real quick? I think there's like 4 more people waiting to come up. I'm going to stop for 1 second. Welcome to the Candy Factory, everyone. If you've not been here before, we're a co-working space and social club, so it's a member-based organization made up of an amazing group of people. What makes the Candy Factory unique is that we have over 250 members doing everything under the sun. It's just the network is just phenomenal. But we also have a 25,000 square foot campus here at the Candy Factory. You're on our 6th floor, which is where we host a lot of events. Members can work from here during the day. We have multiple floors of meeting space, of workspace, desk space. But we also have across the parking lot our media studios. So that's private offices, conference rooms, media. So if you are a creator and you're making podcasts, video streams, anything like that, we are an amazing group of creators as well. Welcome everyone, come on in. An amazing group of creators. And so you can tap our network, you can create here, you can be inspired here, and grow your network. So if you ever want a tour, come check us out. We're really awesome. You can work alongside people like Janet. So Melody with a couple members in the house, and Steve, and so on. So you'll experience here at the Candy Factory. Thank you for being here. I unfortunately will have to watch the live stream downstairs because we're short-staffed today, so I'm covering the front. But passing it back to Chuck. Thanks for being here, everyone. Thank you.
So I just played with the mic settings a little bit. So for those of you who are watching online, hopefully this sounds a bit better. Just give us a thumbs up in the comments, please. So we've got a good group here today. We're on the 6th floor of the Candy Factory. And as she mentioned, the co-working space, but we have this awesome space that gives us the opportunity to come together in a relaxed environment and be able to, we have a stage here. We have the media studio, and we're really pleased today to have our dear friend, as I mentioned before, TJ Griffin, come up and share with us a bit about his entrepreneurial journey and what he's found has worked well for him. Is the way he's thought, the way he's approached things. I'm not going to go too far into that because he tells the story a hell of a lot better than I do. So without any further ado, TJ.
Thank you, brother Chuck. I don't need that, right? Is my mic good? Can they hear me on my mic? Good morning, y'all. Testing 1, 2. Is my mic good? Okay. So thank you, Chuck. Thank you guys for that great introduction. And I want to thank you guys for actually doing this Success Summit and the Rockstar events. As most of you guys are aware, but if you're not, every month they have a great networking event where they bring like-minded business people together to have a good time, to exchange numbers, maybe have a drink or two, and actually build their network. So I actually challenge you guys to show up and check them out. Meet with Janet and Chuck afterwards about the next one. They actually are really fun, and it's a good chance to get more business. We have all utilized it and made business that way. So a little bit about what we're going to do today. I'm going to tell my story. There's a lot of raise your hand if you're an entrepreneur. Most. Okay. And I'm going to tell my story, some of my story condensed, and a couple of things I learned on the way. If you're an entrepreneur and in this journey with me, a lot of this stuff you heard before, but it's a small amount of time today. We don't have a real workshop, so I'm just going to repeat things you heard before, but hopefully maybe inspire or motivate you to do a little more, or just sometimes when we hear the information again, it helps us get back on track. If you're an entrepreneur, you know this journey is not for the weak. Right now in the current climate of social media, everybody posts entrepreneurship and the planes and the beaches and the cars and the Bentleys and all that, but that's fantasy world. It's not real life. Yes, you can get there, and some of them things some of us have attained, but it's actually a fantasy world. It's almost like they try to teach you that in entrepreneurship is like the easier way than the job, and it's nah. Yes and no, because if you're working in entrepreneurship and you're living within your purpose, you're doing something you love, that's actually what success is, not money. But many times we get caught up in working these lost my train of thought. But what I'm trying to say is that having a job is a great thing. I teach entrepreneurship, so I'm going to be pushing that. But if money in entrepreneurship is not success. Success is doing what's your purpose, doing what you love to do every single day. If you love cars and working on a car is what you get up excited about, that is success. Now, some people, money is what success is. We're going to talk a little bit about that too. And I also know money doesn't make you happy. You know, that's the truth. We've heard it a million times, but it does make things better. It does make things a little easier sometimes, and opportunities to help your family and help others a little more reasonable. So, with that being said, a little bit about me, a little bit of background. I worked in the music business for about 7 to 10 years. I managed this gentleman here, Armageddon from Terror Squad. He's a platinum producer and ghostwriter in the music industry. I did a lot of tours and shows and worked in the music business at a medium to low level. Was never running around with the big platinum guys and no ball or none of that. I've been around some of them. I've learned from some of them, but I worked in the music business. I'm gonna talk about how I got into the music business too. Some of my friends in the gang, some of y'all might know who he is. That's Fat Joe, Joe Crack. Who's that gentleman? Some of y'all seen him show us some love on the Extra Give. Ice is one of the friends that I met in the industry. He's a mentor to me and a good friend of mine. Everybody here got a mentor? I see like 30% of the room. We should all have a mentor somewhere, whether it's in person or someone that you study online. We all should have mentors. So I bounce ideas off of Ice when it comes to business in the entertainment world. And he's been really, really good friend. Anybody know who that is? You know that. That's Coco. That's her closet, ladies. That's 650 pair of shoes in her closet. Crazy. A lot of shoes. And Sucker Punch, this film was done by a director by the name of Zack Snyder. He did the movie 300. He did The Watchmen, Batman versus Superman. And he did this film. He directed this film, and he flew me and my artist out to Hollywood, California to work on the soundtrack with that film. And it ended up being down between my artist, Armageddon Getty, my brother, and another artist rapper by the name of Common from Chicago. He's a pretty big celebrity. They picked our song over Common, and then Queen, the remaining members of Queen that were alive, picked our song to do a mashup. So we did a song with Queen in LA. It was the #1 stream song on the soundtrack for Sucker Punch. That same song we put on Madden 11. It's old school, but when you put in the Madden 11 game, the first song that comes on is our song that we did with Zack Snyder and Queen. Did some local acting. This was actually national, but on a low level. And I started in a movie called Choices. It's a true story about Ron James. Ron James spent 20 years in prison about on addiction, and came out in 2012 and became a author of multiple books and one of the leading youth national speakers in the country. I auditioned to play him in the film. I actually got the role, and that film played across the country in theaters for a weekend. And now it's using the Department of Corrections across the country. They use it in the jail system. Really cool film. Check it out. You get a chance. Entrepreneurship. So that's a little bit about the journey, and we're talking about entrepreneurship. So when we got into the business, I come from a neighborhood that is conducive to violence and criminal activity. I come from a neighborhood where when you walk out front, there's opportunities to make money and your mom's hungry in the house. So when you're a youth that come from a certain environment and your mom's hungry or there's not opportunities or you got to feed your child and you can walk right out front and feed them, it kind of pulls you into it. I'm not saying it's the good thing, but it's just my culture is where I come from. So my entrepreneurship background comes from the streets. I'm a former drug dealer. That's a lot of times people are scared to say that, but I walk into every room who I am. It's my history. Am I glorifying that like some of the content of the music that I work with? No, I'm not. It was a miseducation. As a matter of fact, it's a silly man's lifestyle. Silly man's lifestyle, but that was where I came from, never knowing that was my introduction into business world. So through that, I had a girlfriend at the time, ended up having a baby. This girlfriend started asking me to change my ways. She kept saying, hey, he's getting bigger, more people coming in and out of the house. Maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe you should just get a job. I'm like, jobs don't pay. But she kept hinting and hinting for years for me to change my life, until one day she had enough of my lifestyle and said, you need to get up out of here. And she did this while she was in an environment she's not from, with no family members. She's a white girl from the burbs, now in the hood by herself, would rather me get out and be alone than have my lifestyle influence my son and hurt my son. That's power. She's a powerful woman. So anyway, I left, took the streets. That's all I knew. See, I also come from learning disabilities. I don't do math well. My spelling, my grammar is terrible. You will find spelling errors in my PowerPoint. That's all right. It's just who I am. It's some of my struggles. So with them learning disabilities, not doing well in school, when I worked my hardest in school, I got C's. So when it was time to get busy and the teacher's time to focus and study, you got to pass, I was lucky if I got a C. I'm a D student. At this time, there was no recognition for the kid with C's and D's. He ain't trying hard enough. She ain't studying hard enough. Get your act together. Now I'm trying. It just doesn't click. So there was no award for me, no recognition, no honor roll. You better just graduate and hopefully get a good job. So when you come from my environment and then you see people that graduate to have a good job and they are struggling to have nothing, it's not very influential. It's not very incentive. It's like, so I got to do that to get what they got? I'm going to be a rapper. Rappers come from where I come from. They look like me and they made it. So that's a belief system. When you see people that come from where you come from that look like you and have attained success, you believe that is something that you can do. When you come from an environment where nobody has what you consider success, not your mama, not your daddy, not your neighbor, not the corner store, nobody, but then you have people telling you what success is, you're like, nah, y'all don't get it. That's fantasy world. This was my belief system. Broke up with the young woman. By the grace of God, hit my knees and asked God to give me something I could do. This was at the time I was in the streets. I was doing well by my circle of friends, but my mental and my heart was telling me I wasn't doing right. So I prayed to God on my knees to give me something else I can do. I said, but God, don't give me $7 an hour because I can't do it. Go back to school like everyone says, that's not for me. I don't do well at that stuff. But if you can give me something, I don't want this. Cried in that church that was on Ann Street at St. Anthony's Church in the broad daylight, 3 o'clock in the afternoon after selling a quarter pound of weed. Walked in there, cried. Knew I would leave that game that day. Went back to my girlfriend, told her I had found God and I changed my life. She said, this guy's crazy. He's crazy. Later on, she told me, I didn't believe you that day, but I knew that you believed you. So she took me back. I got a job at Telstar Marketing 2 blocks from here in an alleyway. Not even 2 blocks. I can see it from here. It's behind that building. We're at Telstar Marketing for $7.25 an hour. So be careful what you ask God for. I said, God, don't give me no job for $7. I ain't doing it. He didn't. He said $7.25. So now I'm making $7.25 an hour, and I'm feeling good about myself because for the first time in a long time, I'm actually working for my money. I'm doing 40 hours a week. I'm getting cursed out on the phone trying to upgrade Comcast people. I'm a telemarketer, but I work 40 hours and I go home and I respect that dollar bill different than I used to. The dollar bill felt different. But if I did feel kind of like a man for the first time. Before I was a street dude, which we've been taught that that's you can be. It's not a man. But now I'm working 40 hours and I'm bringing this check home and I'm feeling kind of good. About 4 or 5 months go by. And I'm used to buying sneakers and buying things. Sneakers was my thing. It's part of our culture. And I get the check one day. I said, Christy, I want to keep 80 out of that check out for me. So I'm going to buy some sneakers. I haven't bought none in a while, some Air Forces, and keep the rest for you. She says, we can't. I said, what do you mean? She said, I don't have enough for rent this month. And I want to tell you that because you get upset and the cable's going to get cut off. But I talked to PR landlord. He's going to give us a break. And by next month, the cable will be back on. So I work 40 hours a week, all day, work my hardest, get this paycheck, give it to you. And you're telling me I can't buy sneakers and there's still more bills after the money's gone and we still can't pay rent. She's like, yeah. So give me that check back. I'll turn that check around by tomorrow. I'm going to turn that check around. She looked at me and said, you would do that? I'm like, nah, but I can't do this. It gets me emotional thinking about that because I remember, like, this is my life. School's not for me. I don't do well academically. I have all kinds of learning disabilities. This is going to be my life. At that time of my life, God works in mysterious ways. Christy was watching Oprah. And on Oprah, there was a guy named Robert Kiyosaki. Some of y'all know who he is. Amazon was not Amazon of it is today. This is 15 years ago, 16 years ago. And she goes and buys this book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki on Amazon. It's a used copy for like $3. I come home one day from Telstar. She says, here, TJ. What's this? I don't read no books. What's this? Last book I read was Charlotte's Web. Y'all know Charlotte's Web? Look, she's tattooed on my arm. She wrote Radiant. She read Some Pig. She said Some Pig. That was the only book I ever read. And she said, this guy's a self-made millionaire. He was on Oprah. He just makes sense. I thought you may want to read it. I said, thank you, babe. Put in the bathroom. A day or two goes by. I go to the bathroom. I pick that book up, and I could not put it down. So here you got a guy with learning disabilities, ADHD, doesn't read well. So I have to read pages multiple times to retain the information a lot of times. And for the first time in my life, somebody was talking to me like it didn't matter that I had learning disabilities, didn't matter my background, didn't matter the criminal record. He said none of that mattered. I'm like, who is this guy? He said, here's what matters. And he also said that the kid with the C's runs the company and hires the kid with the A's to do what he or she can't do. I said, oh, shoot. I could do something. That journey took us into network marketing. I don't know if anybody's ever been in a network marketing company, but I love it. I know it has a bad name, and you can't do that. You can't say it's bad around me because it changed my life. We got into a company called Prepaid Legal, where we're selling legal insurance. And for the first time in my life, I got a suit on, and I'm feeling kind of good, and I'm learning things. So what happened with that industry is it made personal development a big part of our lives. So what it taught me changed my life forever. If the product or service is good, network marketing is a great way to move your product or service in the marketplace, learn this business aspect, and make some money. But it takes man work. Sometimes they try to recruit you and say, you're going to be, nah. If you grind and work, you can be very successful in it. So we were in that. Then that failed. Ended up doing some more things, grinding, ended up in the music industry through MySpace. Actually got in the music industry through MySpace. Because what happened, guys, is I am doing something called personal development. I'm gonna get to that. And I'm learning a lot. So because I'm learning so much, I'm taking action on things that I would have never took action before. I'm starting to do things I would have never done before, think opportunities I never thought before. And I just thought, let me reach out to a famous rapper on MySpace and see if this works, and it worked. Through that, I got into the music industry. That went good for a while. That failed. So now we're on our third failed business. But because of the books I read and the personal development education I got, I knew that was part of the journey. I got to fail to succeed. So we would cry and get back at it. Ended up founding the Vision Program, which is a social enterprise for-profit company where I provide workshops and programs for incarcerated youth nationally. So I would go into a juvenile prison, including here in Lancaster, and I would provide programs and workshops on hip-hop culture, drug culture, entrepreneurship, and give it to the information to the kids in a way that they haven't been delivered before. That ended up turning into a training program. I became a trainer, certified through the state, and then different states, training all over the country. And that Vision Program was national publications featured and local publications, which is crazy. Ted's talk called The Paper Plane Effect. I did a talk about the effect environments have on a child's belief system. If a child lives in a certain environment, what he or she sees, hears, and smells every day become part of their belief system. Imagine that. So depending on what you're around, you thought you were capable of creating. So I did a talk on that. We do real estate, have some rental properties. We're constantly purchasing and flipping, and some Airbnbs. We actually put an offer in for 6 units in Columbia last night and it got approved. So 6 units, Columbia's approved. And we have some Airbnbs that are pretty successful. Last year, me and my partner, Jose Rios right there, he's a producer and program provider as well. We were playing, COVID happened. He has a program called Dream Loud. He works with incarcerated youth as well. He goes into these programs and brings a portable recording studio and teaches the kids how to engineer, record, mix, master, express themselves. I do the same thing under hip hop culture. We do workshops. COVID happened. All our work stopped. 100% of it gone. So program directors nationally would call us to do Zoom things with the kids. We'll do them, but they're not very, it's Zooming with the kids that are locked up. You know how hard it is with kids in school? Imagine a kid in jail. So we did that, but it was a little helpful. Staff members across the country were not doing more than they should. So they had all this extra time with kids because now during COVID, guys like me and Flex and other volunteers and church groups can't go into the facilities no more. There's a huge portion of downtime that is consumed by volunteers and programs like myself. So when that stopped during COVID, the staff members have all these extra hours that normally was taken care. They gotta do stuff. Most of them, this is across the country, we're doing more spades games. Not everybody, y'all, but most more spades games, more basketball games, which is great. But we could do better. We're playing Xbox. Playing Xbox. He's like, hey, why aren't we doing something together? I said, we always do stuff together. I book you, you book me. What you talking about? He said, no, like, why aren't we doing something together? We should be doing something together. It's COVID. We got to come up with something. I'm like, dude, like, what are you talking about? I'm telling you.
Yeah.
The next day, we're back on the phone. We form Creative Hope. We come up with the name, the idea. The next day, the logo. We formed it. And December of last year, did the paperwork in January. And in February, we were in business. We are profitable our first month. And we built 15 studios nationwide in 5 different states. So what Creative Hope Studios does is we go into juvenile prisons and juvenile cells, prison cells, and we transform that space into a recording studio space and creative outlet for the kids to express themselves. We bring light into dark places. So that was a cell we were in Florida. That's step 2. That's step 3 of me and Flex. So that was also just creating something like out of nothing, right? So check it out. For anybody here, I'm going to keep going for it. I don't have much time. This is the house I live in, which is my dream house. Might not be nothing to most of y'all, but there's a reason why I'm showing this to y'all. This front grass is more grass than I had, just the front, that I had in all the houses I've ever lived in. Just the front grass. Navy knows that. She's my neighbor for many years. She knows. That grass there was the most for all my cribs. That's the yard today. Why am I showing you all that? That's my wife today. This was her and I back when I was in the streets, and she was with me in the streets. Only one person that knows her back then here. So this is us then. The reason I showed you all that because this dope ass yard, this is the yard. This is the house and yard we came from. Not too many years ago. This is on Woodward Street in Lancaster. Of course, it wasn't condemned when I was there, but it was close to condemned. Everything's the same. Like, everything's the same from when we lived there. The paint, the steps, everything's the same. I tried to go back and buy it, but they said, you only sell it to people that are going to live there. I already lived here. I don't want to live there. So they wouldn't sell it to us. But that was the yard. So that's why I show you that, not to impress you about me, but to impress upon you what you can do, no matter your background and where you come from. And my story might just be for one person in here. I don't know. But the background of where we come from to where we are today is actually, it doesn't make no sense. Society would say that's just not how it works, you know? But society's wrong. It really is wrong. And we have the power, and all of us have these ideas and these thoughts or these passions, and all that stuff comes from, I'm not going to preach to you all, but comes from somewhere. I call it upside down, inside out. And a lot of times we are not taking action on that because society says it's not work, or people won't support me. You know how many times on Facebook I hear these, especially kids y'all age, they won't support me, yo. They don't support my music. They don't support my business. Nobody shows up. Man, stop bitching. Excuse my language. Your gift of doing music or your gift of doing this business, whatever, or cook, whatever it is your gift. It's not their gift. They're not supposed to love it and support it. You're supposed to grind it out, and in time, you'll get the support. Stop waiting for everyone to come support you. We don't get down like that over here. We work no matter what. We grind no matter what. Sooner or later, they come and support. If they don't, we didn't need them anyway. See, a lot of times when you complain about what you don't want, you get more of what you don't want. Simple things that we've learned. So that was the crib. Environment and conditioning, lack of education and belief system. See, I thought because of my lack of education and my belief in myself, not much belief, that I had to be a rapper to make it. To me, when you come from an environment that doesn't have money, money is important. Money grabs our attention. So only people I seen with real money that looked like me that made it were athletes and rappers and the hustler. So I'm a rap. I got a rap crew still tattooed on my arm, A and B. I'm going to trap, hustle until I get out by rapping. That was my goal. That didn't work, and got into a network marketing company. Only reason why I took action on that thing is because that book she put in my hand, Rich Dad Poor Dad, made me start thinking differently. And I got into a network marketing company, and this guy showed up to my house. Looking like that, to the hood, till he came from Delaware. He shows up to my house, and he's the network marketing guy. If you know the industry, there's usually someone that's big that has the team underneath. He's the guy. Comes up to my house and starts to teach me this stuff. And everything he tells me to do, first he says, "Are you coachable?" I said, "I think so." He said, if I have a lot of money and you want a lot of money, and I show you what I did to get it, do you believe you could get it? I said, "If you show me, yeah." He goes, "Okay, then that's coachable." He said, "It's great to be a copycat as long as you're copying the right cat." You ready to copy me, TJ? I still use that today. Dave Wisman taught me that. So everything this man said, I did. He said I was the most coachable person ever. So I went from that to this network marketing company. Everything he told me to do, I did. A lot of it was against my culture, but I just listened to him. We ended up, both of us ended up, me and Christy had full-time jobs. She went part-time. I went part-time. Then I went full-time with this. We had an $8,000 a month. I couldn't believe it, selling legal insurance. Couldn't believe it. Everything he told me to do, I did. Personal development was key. One day he sits me down. We're in Lake Tahoe or something. I forget where we were, because I'm winning trips with this company. And he says, "What do you really want to do?" I said, "What do you mean?" Like, I'm loving this. I'm speaking to people. I'm making money. I'm traveling. He goes, "You're probably not Mr. Prepaid Legal." I didn't want to tell you that last year because you weren't ready for it. But if you could do anything, what would it be? Like, he knew ahead of time that I was so gung-ho with this new company that it was probably not where I was going to be, but I was there for a reason at that time. I said, "My dream would be to go speak with kids and show them there's a way to make it." He said, "Great." I said, "First, I got to make it because the kids I talk to, they want to see it first. They want to see some stuff. I know it's not cool, but they need to see stuff to get their attention." And he said, "Well, I was curious." He said, "I don't think you're going to be Mr. Prepaid Legal forever, but you're going to do something with your life." And he was right. So Dave Wisman ended up transitioning me, planting the seeds into our life to change. 3 things he taught me was a higher power. I'm not going to tell you who to believe in, what God to believe in. That is not my thing. But there's something out there that it's nice to go to call, that you need to call on when you need him or her or it. I personally has felt this being, whatever you want to call it, in my life so much, and it's amazing. Have something to call your own, to call on a higher power, because life's going to be hard. Life is hard, right? All of us, we take this for granted a lot of times, but and you hear this shit all the time. None of us are promised tomorrow. Like, today's so valuable. So valuable. And one of the weakest things we do as humans is we don't realize like how every moment is so precious that we can do something with it. Like, every moment. So higher power is very important. Your circle of friends. Number 2, Dave said. Dave would come to my house to do these network meetings, and I would invite only people I know. This is homies from the block. Dave's the right guy from Delaware, very successful in network marketing, very successful man. And he watched my circle, and he would be nice, and he would talk, and then he would be like, "Do all you guys wear white t-shirts?" It's like, "Yeah," it's like, "That's our thing." It's like, he didn't know. I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay." He started telling me that you become who you surround yourself with. And he said, "I'm not talking anything about your friends, but the reason why you haven't grown yet is because this is who you hang with." Now, he's challenging my culture. Now, my culture says and teaches me that the people I roll with every day are more important than anything, and I must ride and die no matter what. What this man is telling me is, them people are going to take you down. You're going to love them, and they'll love you, but you'll never grow. I'm coachable. So what I did now is I did something called keep it pushing. Did I diss my friends? Did I say, "I don't know with y'all, y'all ain't about it no more"? Nah. I gotta do something. What you mean? I'm going to church. What you mean? I'm reading this book. Oh man, this guy's a Jesus freak, reading books. But I had to get away. Dave Wisman then told me, at this time, have you ever you need to wear a suit, because we were actually recruiting highly professional people in this field, lawyers and doctors. I was recruiting. He said, "You need a suit." I said, "I don't got no suit." He said, "I said, I don't have no money for a suit." He said, "Yeah, you do." I said, "No, I don't." He goes, "You got 20 bucks?" It's like, "I could squeeze 20 bucks. He said, "Then you have enough for a suit." He said, "Go to the Salvation Army." Also from my culture, even though we come from poverty and we're poor, we make fun of other kids that poverty and poor. So I'm like, "Salvation Army, good. No, we don't do that." He said, "Get yourself a suit." I go to Salvation Army. I spent, I think, 32 bucks. I got a suit, a tie, shoes, called Dave. Dave drove from Delaware, and he helped me tie my first tie. Dave taught me something that day. I don't wear suits that much anymore, but he taught me the power of a dress code. He picked me up on Water Street. He said, we're going to 3 Turkey Hills. He said, we call them Wawas where I come from. He said, in these 3 Turkey Hills, I'm going to take you into every Turkey Hill, and I'm going to give you $5 to buy some lottery tickets. When we come back, you're going to process it with me. I said, oh, shoot, Dave got to hustle. We're going to get some money. He got hustle going on. I knew that wasn't the truth. I knew he was up to something. The first Turkey Hill we went to was by the Clipper Magazine Stadium right up back here. I didn't have to go to no other ones. At this time, I had long cornrows in my hair. And I jump out, and he gives me $5. And as I walk up to the front door and I grab the door, an older gentleman reaches over, grabs the door, and opens it for me. Walk in. It didn't hit me yet. When I go to pay for the lottery tickets, lady calls me sir. It was a young lady. She says, thank you, sir. It hit me at that point. I said, someone just hold the door. No older white guys ever jump in the way to hold the door for me. It just was a fact. Just a fact. Jump. And then as I'm there, they're calling me sir. When we got back in the car today, he said, I don't need to tell you nothing, do I? I said, nah. He goes, TJ, your appearance matters. And the way you present yourself matters depending on what you want to do. It was powerful because we have to learn how to position ourselves to play in different arenas. So that was a powerful message for me. Higher power, number 1, circle with friends. For any of you young people in here, you become who you surround yourself with all the time, every time. If you have a garden and you're growing tomato plants and there's weeds in that tomato, all around that tomato plant, what happens to the tomato? Anybody know? It rots. The weeds pull the nutrients out of the tomato. And the weeds a lot of times are your family and friends. They mean well, but they just don't get it. So they steal your dream from you a lot of times. No, that's not going to work. What you're doing, you can't do that. Why are you trying to do that? And that's a lot of times that's weeds that are inside your garden. You must weed your garden. This is so important. So important. Your circle of friends is so important. Personal development, education. I'm going to keep going real quick, so I want to wrap this up here. Your attitude, commitment, discipline, comfort zone, all are very important aspects to entrepreneurship. Most of y'all know that. Attitude determines your altitude. You got to have a good attitude. You have a bad attitude, you ain't going to get no money or have any success. It's just the way it is. Attitude is everything. If you can write that down, write that down. Commitment. Commitment is, what's commitment, Jada? Do you remember? I taught her this like 2 years ago. What's commitment? Any of y'all remember? Commitment is doing what I said I was going to do even when I no longer feel like it. Commitment is doing what I said I was going to do even when shit gets a little hard. I don't feel like it no more. Things got rough. I do it anyway because I said I was going to do it. That's the separation factor with successful entrepreneurs and unsuccessful entrepreneurs. We do it anyway, even when it sucks and it hurts. Commitment is key. Discipline. You already know the deal. What's interesting is this whole room is full of people with good attitudes, commitment, discipline issues, and comfort zone. All are using this right now. You wouldn't have showed up today. You gotta have a pretty good attitude, or at least hopeful to have it to show up to this thing today. Commitment. You made a commitment to come, you showed up. Discipline. It takes discipline to come here, wake up early in the morning, especially to come see some guy you don't know. Janet and Chuck say to come see. Comfort zone. Half of y'all were uncomfortable walking up in this joint. Like I get it. No, all success is outside of your comfort zone. All of it. You gotta get outside of your comfort zone to be successful. The fruit is out on the limb. If you're very comfortable every single day and it's just going great and you just feel, and there's no fear, you're not growing. It's okay. You can be happy there, successful there, but you're not growing. I have learned to be comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable every single day. This is hitting me. Every single day. But we continue to grow. So attitude, commitment, discipline, comfort zone. These 3 travelers come with us as an entrepreneur. Am I right, y'all? Fear, worry, stress. These 2 turn into the stress. Robert Kiyosaki says fear stands for false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. Like 95% of the stuff we worry about never happens. But that worry turns into stress. And this kills a lot of business and entrepreneurs. Kills them. This coffee here, right? Anybody make a guess how much coffee I got left in this cup? Anybody got a guess?
2 ounces.
2 ounces, 4 ounces, empty. It's not empty. It's probably half. It's probably 4 or 5 ounces. But this is kind of like stress and worry. Why? If I hold this cup right here, it's easy. No issue for one whole minute, right? Nothing. What about 5 minutes from now? I still can hold this cup pretty. It's the same amount of weight. The weight hasn't changed, but it's a little more stress on my arm. In an hour from now, this is just down here, right? Or right here. And 5 hours from now, it's down here and it's stressed and burnt my arm out. So a lot of times when we carry it's the same amount of weight. So when you worry about some shit I curse a lot. Sorry, Chuck. If you worry about some stuff, that same weight gets heavier and heavier. Heavier and heavier and becomes stressful in your life and ends up being detrimental to your well-being, when all you need to do is think about it for that moment, because it's valuable to process that issue and worry, okay, this is what I got to do. This is I'm going to handle it. Write it down, get it off my brain, and then sit the damn cup down. Sit the cup down. Because you're carrying around that worry that's just it stunts everything and creates stress. And us as entrepreneurs, we get this so much. Everything I'm saying, I am not a master at. I carry the worry. I carry the cup too long. I try to put it down. And what's cool about when I'm talking about entrepreneurship, because a lot of times we got people teaching entrepreneurship that are not entrepreneurs. We got people teaching culture and hip hop that are not other culture. You're getting this information from someone that's in the grind with you every single day. So a lot of times we're worrying about these things that are just not worth our worry, huh? And you're holding on to it and it's making it worse and worse and heavier to your growth. Sit the cup down. Y'all heard that before? Most of y'all heard that before? Your why. Like, why are you doing this business? Like, why are you doing this business? If it's just to make money, you probably ain't gonna make it. If it's just, now I'm saying some do, but most likely if it's just about the money, you won't make it, because in this journey, it is hard. And when things get super hard and people are saying, and you can't pay the mortgage, you can't pay the rent, and no one's buying the product, no one's showing up to the pop-up shop, it is so hard. And if it's just about money, you quit. I'm done with this. This hurts. See, it hurts to be an entrepreneur. It's embarrassing sometimes. It's embarrassing sometimes. But we got to hold our head up. If your why is big enough, you keep going. If my why teacher, I want some money, you'll quit. You're going to quit. If my why is like, my mom's never had a home, I want to buy her a home one day. That's a big why. If his why is, I want to put my baby brother and sister through college. I want to be the first person to graduate college in my family. I want to start this business that's going to change my family. See, them kind of whys are big enough that when ish gets hard, you keep going. It's that laser focus, that decision to be focused. I said a video the other day. I said, when you decide to be successful, success is a decision. I'm going to try, Mr. TJ. I don't try nothing. I either do it or I don't. When you decide to be successful, it's like the side ends with side. Well, other words end with side, homicide. Well, other words have suicide. What do they have in common? Something has to die. When you decide to be successful, it's the death of all other options. I'm telling you. It's a decision. That means ain't no baby mama, ain't no drama, ain't no ex-husband, ain't no kids, nothing gets in the way of my dream. I'm so laser focused, everything gets zapped up that comes in my way. That's a decision. That's me and Christy made this decision years ago. Years ago when COVID happened, we were in our room crying because we were going to lose everything. Like everything. What are we going to do? Literally crying. It's just not too long ago. And so we said, you know what? We're both in Ballet. It's okay. We lose everything, we know how to get it again. And if I'm with you in Hands Woods, y'all don't know about that, but some of y'all do. If I'm with you in Hands Woods in the tent, I'm happy. When we did that, we felt the relief go, and we were actually okay with it. And the universe responded, and we were okay. Well, the government gave a lot of money out to help save our businesses, which is interesting. I thought about that. As an employee, no disrespect to an employee, but for us that got some businesses, they send us bags. That means money in my culture. For the business owners, we had all kinds of perks and grants. At my job, I would have gotten none of that. As a matter of fact, I was a mandated worker, so I'd have been there every day making little over minimum wage and getting nothing as an employee. But as a business owner, they say, hey, you need help. Here's a grant. Oh, by the way, don't pay it back. You can keep it. I was like, grant? Because I'm a business owner, and what I was doing, the services I was providing. So there's perks to being a business owner. So all this grind and struggle, there's also perks. One of the perks is for you young kids, me and Flex every day as business owners get to wake up when we're done sleeping. The young people get that. We get to wake up every day when we're done sleeping. No alarm clock, no get to the job. I did that for years. Here's the separation factor. I get up earlier than everybody in my whole block and they all go into jobs. I was up at 4:15 today. I can't sleep. My mind walks too crazy. I want to go create, do something. Usually I'm at 5, but 4:15 today. So I don't have to get up every day. He don't have to get up every day, but we still up earlier than everybody on the block. Separation factor, real entrepreneur. Eat 40 hours up by Wednesday. Y'all want to sign up for this? It's entrepreneurship. It's no joke. So your gift, your why, your gift, everybody has a gift. Everyone was born with a gift. I'm going to wrap this up, guys. Everyone's born with a gift. And your purpose is your gift. Sometimes we get that mixed up with our passion. I'm passionate about some things that's not my gift. And I'm passionate about fishing. I love fishing. I'm not going to be a bass angler. It's just not what I'm going to do. But my gift is people. Working with people, helping people. And if I can find a way to work with people, especially young people, and help them, the universe gives me all these different ideas. And because of the personal development I did all the years of reading these books that you think are worthless, I'm not scared to go for the ideas. And I go for the ideas and things happen. Everybody has a gift. Everybody was born with it. Every one of you guys have a seed. Here's what I promise you. Everyone in this room is going to leave this planet their fruit. I'm talking about your children. I'm talking about your purpose and gift. Everyone's going to leave it. What kind of seed what kind of fruit are you going to leave is the question. Like, how is this planet different because you were here? Not kids don't count. I'm talking about what effect did you make with your purpose and your seed. Everybody has it. A tree makes the apple tree. The seed makes the apple tree. The tree makes the apple, and then he gives it away for free. Gives his apples away for free. If you learn to do that, find your purpose and give it away, you'll be blessed with everything you ever wanted. Belief system. As a kid, I did not believe that I could do it until I started personal development and finding out that I could be a C student and run a company. The paper plane effect is a talk I did for the TEDx talk. Is tattooed on my arm to remind me. So what you see is you see a paper plane on my arm, but underneath the paper plane is a fighter jet. The shadow of the plane does not fit. See, the paper plane doesn't think he's a paper plane. He thinks he's a jet. And if he thinks it long enough, he becomes what he thinks. He becomes it. She becomes it. So this is my reminder sometimes when I'm in a room of highly educated people, very successful, and I get imposter syndrome. I sit back and I'm just this kid from the hood with no education. What am I doing here? And I look down at my reminder. I'm like, nah, baby. You a fighter jet. You deserve to be in this room. You deserve to be in this room. And you bring value to this room. So that's just a reminder. Your belief, people will not believe in you until you believe in yourself. So belief systems are hard. And if you're having a problem believing in your product, your service, or what you want to do, it's because you're not around the right people. Because if you're around the right people, we're going to fuel your belief. We're going to say that you can do it. We got this. How can I help you? I believe in you. So if you're having a problem with your belief system, get around some people that are supportive. That's hard to find sometimes in your families. There's apps and there's meetup groups. Like there's no excuse for it, for real. Now, anybody ever hear the flea in a jar story? Flea in a jar? Check this out real quick. If the sound works, we'll see.
Volume 67.
They are left undisturbed for 3 days. Then, when the jar is opened, the fleas will not jump out.
Before you put the jar on, they were jumping out.
They are able to jump higher than the level set by the lid. Their behavior is now set for the rest of their lives. And when these fleas reproduce, their offspring will automatically follow their example.
Tell me that ain't crazy. Testing 1, 2. Can you help me with that? Got it, Chuck. Got it, Chuck.
Mute.
Think about that real quick. So you take fleas that can jump super high. They're actually one of the highest jumping creatures in the world. They can jump like a 400-foot building if you're relevant to a human. You put them in a jar, and they all start jumping out the jar. This is the fact. You take the lid, and you put the lid on the jar. And they jump up, and they start hitting their heads, and it hurts. So they start They start stopping right at the top of the jar, start leveling off. Open the jar lid, they don't even jump out of it no more. They reproduce, the baby fleas do the same thing. They don't jump so high. You see what I'm saying? That's us. A lot of times that's human interaction. So a lot of times we don't, because of our surroundings and a lot of times our parents or whatever, we don't believe we can jump so high. So society has made us put the lid on the jar. When the fact of the matter is you have that gift and that purpose in you. It's in you, but somehow you don't believe in yourself enough, or you're watching people around you so you're not jumping to your full potential. Same thing that happens with the fleas. Then they reproduce and the fleas all have the power to jump that high, but won't do it. No belief system. Some of you already heard the story with the elephants way back, how they trained elephants back in the day. Years ago, what they would do is they'd take a baby elephant and tie a chain around its arm, its leg, and then put the mama elephant to the side. And when the baby elephant got hungry, it would try to pull to the mama, and it would hurt. And the chain would start to cut. After a few hours, they would take the baby elephant, let it feed with the mama. Next day, they take it and do the same thing. That baby pulls and pulls and pulls to get to the mama so much, it cuts and it bleeds. Finally, the baby stops pulling. When it stops pulling, they take it to the mama. So now that baby elephant weighs a ton, and they take a wire as thin as this, and they tie it around his leg, and they tie it to something like this, and the elephant won't move. It won't move. It has been conditioned to believe that if I try, it hurts, and I won't get there. It hurts if I try. It's embarrassing if I try. It's going to cut my arms, my legs if I try. So the elephant stops trying. As an entrepreneur, we got to be okay with getting hurt, okay with getting beat up, okay with the chain hurt, and keep going. That's the only way we can make it. So a lot of times society has conditioned us to not believe in our full potential. Personal development is key. None of this stuff works, guys, without personal development. If you're not educating yourself, if you're not listening to the right videos and tapping into this content, you will get washed up. You must continue to grow. You must continue to grow in personal development, in your craft or whatever you're doing. Law of attraction. I do a whole 2 hours just on this. Maybe we can do that another time. Most of y'all have heard of this, right? Raise your hand if you heard of it. It's the hot buzz a couple years ago. Got played out a little bit. I just like to let you know that these words, thoughts, and feelings are important. Words are powerful. Words do become things. Thoughts do become things. Everything started as a thought, and the law of attraction is real. So be careful what you put out there. You'll see on my social media posts that I do a lot of business. Every day I want to pull my hair out. This is part of what I signed up for. You never see it on my page. Some of y'all that follow me. You never see it. Some people say, oh, he ain't being real. He only shows the happy stuff. No, I understand the law of attraction. And the law of attraction when it comes to social media is super powerful because you're affecting thousands at one instance. That energy is real. And if I bitch and complain all the time, that's going to come back to me. So I show the good stuff. I deal with the other stuff behind closed doors. The law of attraction is real. Thoughts become things. Guard that. Value.
You got a second for, we can go back to
Got a-
personal development.
Sure.
Question from online. What are some personal development tools you recommend?
Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Whether you're doing real estate or not, what he teaches you about assets and liabilities is so valuable. You also get to understanding that it doesn't matter how smart you are. If you play by these rules, you can be successful. The second book I would say is Think and Grow Rich by Dale Carnegie. It's a very Dale Carnegie is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Napoleon Hill, thank you. So both them books, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill and How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. That was my first three. When I read Think and Grow Rich, it's so written in the 30s and the language and the words are way too much for me. But Dave Wisman said, read it anyway. I read it anyway, and I thought I got it. Read it 2 years after that. I thought I got it. Read it 3 years after that. Started to get it. And it all goes back to law of attraction. But them are very important books. Start with those. I got tons more. So value. I'm going to end with this little story about value. And it kind of fits into some of the things that we talked about today. And story is young boy, a couple hundred years ago in China, works in the rice fields with his father and his mother and siblings every day. He's the oldest teenage boy. He comes in one day and says, Dad, tired from working in the field. He said, Dad, what's the value of my life? And he's like, what do you mean, son? No, they're poverty. They're very poor. What's the value of my life, Dad? Dad says, hold on. Goes up in another room of their hut, comes out with a stone. And he takes that stone, he gives it to his son, and he says, I need you to take this stone tomorrow morning to the market. I want you to set a towel up on the floor by the fruit and vegetables, and I want you to put the stone on the mat. And if anybody asks to buy that stone, you should say nothing, son, but you're supposed to hold up 2 fingers. And then you hold them 2 fingers up, you come back and tell me what they tell you. Son's like, all right. Next morning, grabs the stone, brings a towel, goes to the daily market, sets up by the fruit and vegetable stand, and sets the stone in the middle of the towel. All day, people walk by. They look at him on the floor. No one stops. By the end of the day, an older woman says, boy, for sale? Boy says, yeah. How much for your rock? Boy goes, $2? I will gladly pay you $2 for your rock. He folds up the rock, grabs his towel, runs home. Bursts through the door. First thing his dad says, did you sell the stone? What did they say? She said she'd give me $2 for the stone. Now, this is a few hundred years ago. $2 is a few $100s, not more. He says, they give me $2 for the stone. Should I sell it? No, son. Tomorrow, take the stone to the museum. It's outside of the town. It's about a 3-hour walk. Take it to the museum and see what the museum says about the stone. Next day, boy wakes up, gets a stone, grabs his backpack, and walks 3 hours to this museum. As he gets to the museum door, it's closing. But someone sees him knocking, opens up, and they say, we're closed. He says, no, I need to talk to you. They open the door. It's the manager. And she says, what do you want, boy? We're closing. All the boy does is go. Looks at the stone, the manager. How much for the stone? The boy goes, I'll gladly give you $200 for that stone. He folds it up and runs home. 3 hours later, runs home, bursts through the door. Father, $200. Great, son. Should I sell it? Should I sell it? No, don't sell. But Father, this is months and months of payment. Don't sell. Tomorrow, take this stone, this rock, to the precious stone store. It's in town, downtown. It's about an hour from here. Next morning, he folds up the stone, grabs his backpack, and he goes past the market, and he goes to the precious stone store. When he opens the door, what do you want? They don't even want to let him in here. He's from the poor neighborhood. He's not dressed to go into the diamond store. What do you want, boy? I need to talk to the manager. No, what do you want, boy? You can't afford this. What do you want, boy? Can you get the manager? Manager comes out and he goes. She grabs his hand, reaches in her pocket, grabs one of them eye things, starts looking at the stone. Where'd you get this stone, boy? My father's stone. How much do you want for the stone, boy? $200,000? He takes the stone up, runs home, and says, they just offered us $200,000 for the stone. The stone never changed its value. The stone was the same stone in the market, same stone in the museum, and the same stone at the precious stone store. But depending on where you place the stone, depends on the value, what people value as they see in it. So many times we're placed around people and environments that don't see the worth that we have in our stone. And it's there. It's freaking there. You were born with it. So where are you putting your time? Who are you spending your time with? Depends on your value. The stone never changed. It's the same. You guys ever hear the water story with the bottle of water? The bottle of water, I can go to a bodega. You know, the bodega is the corner store, right? And they got them for 99 cents. And if I go to the Philadelphia airport, where I spend a lot of my time, it's $7. $4.50. Same bottle. It's $1 here, $7 at the airport. If I go to Disney World, what's the bottle? Atlantis Resort was another place we go. It was $12 a bottle of water. $12. The same water at the bodega down this block is 99 cents. But depending on where you place that water, depending on the value people see in it, and they purchase it. A lot of times we're marketing our product and service to people that ain't, it's the wrong people. It's the wrong people, guys. It's time to get some new people. Time to get around some new people, new environments that see the potential in you and your growth. And what Janet and Chuck are doing with Rockstar is so valuable and so invaluable. That's why opportunity is only opportunity, because everybody don't see it. That's why the rock stars are not so packed out on a waiting list you can't get in it, because it's real opportunity. If it was so packed out and they couldn't get nobody in, it wouldn't be opportunity because everybody sees it. But what they do every month for the community, the network is incredible. The kind of businesses that they're helping establish and get people moving is incredible. I've seen it for myself. Like right now in this room, if I look around, there's all people from all different, from credit repair to community leaders to directors at high levels to construction to like all this stuff here. And imagine how many of us can work together in here who can help each other. We also, me and my wife also have something called the pop-up shop on Queen, where we have a space that we rent to entrepreneurs and small businesses that they can participate downtown in a market that they're normally cashed out at and actually sell their products and services right here beside the Swedish fish place. If you're a teenager and you want to start a business, you can have the spot for free if you're serious about it. We have actually people that will sponsor and pay for your pop-up shop and then mentor you through Blazing Jays to actually do your business inside of it. It also goes for anybody that's in any of the organizations that work with kids. Y'all can have your own storefront if you have a real product or service and you're serious about it. So with that being said, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Hopefully my story, I kind of rambled and brought everything together because I was trying to fit a lot into one thing. Just you spend more time on a specific thing. But I appreciate the opportunity to speak to y'all. I appreciate people that came out today. Use this opportunity afterwards to step out of your comfort zone. Go meet some people in here. There's people that can help you get a bag, get money, get business in here. But if you're too quiet to meet, it's not going to happen. The success is outside our comfort zone. All right? Any questions before I go?
There was one other question online.
Okay.
Somebody was saying, okay, well, what's your why?
My why is, I kind of said it before. My why started with Dave Wisman when I started processing my life. My biggest fear was that it would not matter that I was here. That it would not matter, that whether TJ was born or not, doesn't matter. That's my biggest fear. So I want to make sure that when I'm gone, I influence some kind of change. That's it. That's my why.
Love it. Love it.
Does anybody else have any questions?
We got makeup artists in the building. We got construction workers in the building. We got realtors in the building. We got coaches in the building. We got more construction teams in the building. We got artists in the building. We got directors in the building. We got recording artists in the building. Meet each other. All right? That's it. That's all I got. Peace. Now you need background music quick. Background music quick. Are they all going to... Thank you, brother, man. I care what you think, so thank you, brother. Thank you. Appreciate
So I
that.
want to thank everyone again. Those of you that are watching the live stream.
Really?
This is what Rockstar Connect Success Seminars are about.
Thank you.
There's
the reason I'm here today.
Hear from rockstars that are in our community.
Thank you, brother.
Learn from them, and absolutely thank you again, TJ, for taking the time out of your schedule so you can talk to our community. And it's very important, just as you mentioned, that all are welcome here at Rockstar Connect. We have our live face-to-face networking events at Stoner Grill. The next one's coming up on January 13th from 6 to 8 p.m. in the evening. It's mix and mingle. There's no specific presentation. Show up, come as you are, be yourself, and connect with other people. The important thing in the culture that Janet and I are very focused on growing with Rockstar Connect is that it's relationships first and it's business second, right? Every business deal comes through a conversation and it's built on relationships. Relationships make your journey of entrepreneurship so much easier because there are powerful people right here in our community that get it. They get the struggle. They understand what you're going through and are here to be able to help out, because when we help others, we're helping ourselves. So absolutely, we thank you. This is the end of 2021. We're looking forward to a bright 2022.